X-Men Origins Wolverine will give you new insight into how much damage indestructible razor-sharp claws can do to a human body. This is a game that revels in gore, with decapitations, eviscerations and mutilations drenching the screen in blood. It helps that the violence in X-Men Origins Wolverine is backed up by decent gameplay, and though it doesn't bring anything new to the third-person action-adventure genre, it's still solid and satisfying at most times. You play as Wolverine, with the game's muddled storyline mimicking and expanding on events in the movie of the same name. You'll go up against several guest boss villains from the Marvel Universe, but unfortunately the game doesn't do a great job of introducing these nefarious individuals, such as the Blob and Gambit, and often throws them in with little explanation of why Wolverine needs to beat on them in the first place. Your weapons of choice for dispatching these villains is Wolverine's claws. You have light and heavy attacks that you can string together to perform various combos. And you also have an extremely useful lunge ability that lets you launch Wolverine at enemies from a distance. As Wolverine gains levels, the new combos open up, as well as 4 different Fury attacks, which are super moves that require you to build up your rage meter before unleashing. Although spamming the same combos can prove useful early in the game, you won't be able to get away with mindless mashing for too long. For example, though the lunge may work on low-level enemies, tougher foes and mid-level bosses will simply swat you out of the air. With a bit of practice, all of Wolverine's moves can be changed seamlessly, making you feel extremely powerful as a mutant unleashes his rage on groups of enemies. The game is at its best in the various gruesome ways that you can dispatch your foes. It's certainly the most blood-soaked superhero game in years, and one that younger Wolverine fans should probably avoid. However, adult fans of the character will find this a guilty pleasure, in turns laughing and wincing at the blood-soaked display in front of them. Wolverine's health bar would automatically refill after a few seconds of not taking damage, and it recovers quite quickly, which makes the game fairly easy to breeze through on normal difficulty. It's rare to feel too threatened by the odds stacked up against you, and chances are that the only time you'll die in this game is when you fall off a high ledge or into water. That's right, Wolverine can survive bullets, swords, flames, explosions and lasers, but fall into one of the game's few predetermined no-go zones and it's instant death. Wolverine's boss fights are mostly anticlimactic, with some of the bosses even freezing up on occasion. These occurrences were rare, but quite jarring and annoying when they happen. But to its credit, the game does have 2 standout showdowns. The first is with the Blob, and the second is a fight with a gigantic Sentinel. But though the latter is a fun, multi-stage battle that culminates in a spectacular finishing blow from the near-invincible mutant, it's probably not quite the epic face-off that fans of the X-Men series have been hoping for. X-Men Origins Wolverine is easy. You'll likely finish its 5 chapters in fewer than 10 hours. There's no multiplayer here, and most of the replay value is in finding hidden alternate costumes throughout the levels, as well as an unlockable hard difficulty. The game's environments, particularly its indoor ones, are plain looking. The various corridors and labs lack real distinctiveness. The model of Wolverine himself is the standout. Get hit and the damaged areas will show exposed muscle underneath. Keep on getting pummeled and you'll even see the character's skeletal structure exposed, to be gradually replaced by muscle and skin as Wolverine heals. This sounds better than it looks. Most of the time, this real-time damage lacks clear definition, looking more like random red splotches on Wolverine's clothes than serious injuries. Although the game does sport some clear technical deficiencies, it's never enough to fully distract you from what it is at its core. A solid, if unspectacular game that for once takes these metal claws of Wolverine seriously. X-Men Origins Wolverine is best when it's brutal, and though it lacks any real depth, it's fun while it lasts.